Good afternoon, Gold Coast, Facebook, and
Adrian Hanks.
Adrian Hanks.
And Tommy Gallant.
And Tommy Gallant.
How was everybody?
Right.
We're just doing some technical things in here, just trying to get Tommy live here.
Right, there we go.
Let's have a little bit of a look, trying to do some technical stuff
Likes
in
to
here.
watch himself.
Here we
on the
go.
thing.
This must be it here, Mr. Tommy.
That
There
looks
we
like
go.
that looks like us.
That's it.
I don't think there'd be
Might
too many that would look like us,
Might do
Adrian.
a share.
There we go.
There we go. We
All
can
right. Cut the
hit
feedback.
the
All
volume.
right.
I'm going to throw this over here.
So we are on. Oh look, we've got Adrian Hanks watching. There he is. Oh, let's wave to Adrian Hanks.
Hey, there we go.
Yes. Okay.
Digital doubles.
Yeah, you can go now. Go on, off you go.
So Tommy
Wave.
Gallant, this week,
Yes.
the topic for
Right.
this week, mate.
Yes.
IQ.
IQ. Not the far Q.
How does that sit with you?
The IQ.
The topic of IQ. It's
Right.
an interesting topic, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, look, it's one that people would debate the fact of me actually having enough IQ to talk about IQ.
You reckon
perhaps.
you're on the 100 scale? or
Right.
you-
Oh, well, hopefully, apparently there's a standard deviation of plus or minus 15
Yeah.
on the 100, and I've actually never tested my IQ.
Okay, there's a challenge for you and I this week. Let's go and do the
Scary.
test.
Right.
Let's see how we shape up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I reckon that.
Because I reckon you're a pretty intelligent fella.
Do you?
I really do. Like, because you're on the ball.
You reckon?
For me, intelligence is two different things, Tommy. Maybe this is discussion.
Fill me in, Mr. Hanks.
Where do we sit with intelligence? Because for me, intelligence, I can go to university,
Uh-huh.
I can have a really good memory,
Right.
I can remember everything the lecturers taught me, I can write
Better than me.
I can write a really good, I'm just giving a scenario,
Yeah. Okay.
a possibility,
Right. Okay.
and I can write a really good essay
Right.
and get a distinction. Right? Is that intelligence or is that a good memory?
Oh.
There's a question. The other one for
right,
me is
right.
I'm travelling overseas,
Yeah.
I need to change
Yeah.
a plug
Right.
that's different AC, you know, it could be
International plugs.
international.
Right.
Can I change a plug? If I can, that's pretty intelligent.
You reckon?
So yeah, they reckon? Some people I know cannot change a plug.
Oh well, I can't use a photocopy.
Yeah. So photocopy. So there's different levels of intelligence. yeah?
Okay, all
So
right.
let's get your take a little bit on IQ with the physiological.
Oh
Because
god.
we're beginning of the week, we're Monday.
Yeah.
This is where we tune into the physical side of things, the fitness
is.
side of things.
Yep.
So how can we match IQ, intelligence, with the body work, with
Right.
the physiological?
Okay.
Over to you, Mr. Tommy Gallant.
Whoa. All right. Over to me. Thanks for that
Yeah.
fantastic
Yeah.
scope description opening there, Mr. Hanks. So look, for me, IQ. Obviously, the first word is, and I know this,
Yeah.
intelligence. And the second word's a little harder, but it's
Yeah.
quotient,
Yeah.
right? And from what I understand, IQ's to do with, like you said, there's a memory piece, and then there's a rationalization piece. And let's just give a bit of line of sight here, because this week we're talking about IQ. We're going to go next week into EQ, and then RQ, and then SQ, which
yeah.
shall name. Unless you were in the previous video, we're going to leave that one a little surprise,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Because we invented that one. And
So,
RQ
so
might
SQ
be
is that
like-
surprise Q?
surprise Q. That is the surprise Q.
Yeah,
The one before it, RQ. A lot of people won't even know that. That's
Yeah.
like just kind of becoming mainstreamish now. Relationship quotient.
Yes.
EQ, I think most people know after the famous book by Daniel Goleman,
Yeah,
right? Emotional quotient.
Emotional quotient. Yeah.
Yeah,
Emotional
yeah.
intelligence.
He's gonna
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, yeah.
And here we are at IQ,
Yeah.
right?
Right back in the
Right back in the dark ages.
Knuckle dragging, you know.
Right, yeah, the knuckle draggers. But if you look at IQ, apparently if you're 140 and above on this thing, you're genius.
You and I probably jump in there pretty good.
I reckon together we can form a
Oh, yes,
genius.
okay.
So I'm hoping
Bit of GQ.
Yeah, a bit of GQ. Yeah, there we go. What was it? So IQ, and if you're above 160, you're then like, who was 160? Who was 160? Do you know?
I reckon Einstein would have been pretty close.
Oh, you've been cheating. You've been reading the script
Yeah,
notes.
Buckminster Fuller, I'd say, would be up there a
Lucky.
little bit.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah, there's intelligence in terms of formatting and putting together his architecture.
Alright.
Pretty smart fella.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Yeah.
There was somebody else, but I can't remember.
I say
Wow,
Tesla
he
was
my
probably
IQ.
definitely up there.
He'd have to be out there, wouldn't
He'd
he?
have to be.
Yeah. Oh, Hawking. Hawking was
Hawking's, yeah, yeah.
160 as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Pretty smart cookie.
Pretty damn smart.
Yeah, yeah.
Little plug for, I don't think it was me, I think it came from his mother, but my little guy, he scored at about 143 when he was about 6.
Pretty good.
So he's kicking some butt. All right, quick plug for, the offspring. Yeah. Anyway.
Must be in the genes somewhere.
The genes? Yeah, well, maybe not mine. Sorry, family. But let's relate IQ then to physiology. So apart from the fact that I work in the area of biotech, from an external, not an invasive point of view, like, a nanoparticle stuff, right?
Not there yet.
Yeah, that's a bit moralistic. You're not yet, anyway. I know there's a bit of that nano thing and people wanting to stick things in our bodies at the moment, all the conspiracy theories, yeah?
Starting with face masks.
Yeah, right.
Are we going to go down that track today?
No, not today. Yeah, biotech face mask. Imagine that. You could probably put you can actually hand these things right up.
Yeah.
You can put little
nanoparticles on
nanoparticles and temperature things, and of course they're already starting to get designer. When is Gianni Versace or whoever's going to come out with designer mask? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Glow mesh. Glow mesh.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It probably is happening.
Yeah? There's some big grin, Joker grin or something on there.
There's some really classics out there already. Right? You just Google face masks.
Right. Some neon stuff you wear at night, to freak people out.
Well, my daughter's in Victoria. My son's in Victoria. And as from Thursday, they have to wear face masks. It's been made compulsory by the Victorian government.
I've heard
from Thursday morning or midnight, Wednesday night, face masks are compulsory.
And there's a on-the-spot fine or something,
on the spot fine, yeah.
$200 or something?
Yeah. So, where's that freedom?
Where was the IQ on that one?
Yeah. Because we know, the research is that the masks do nothing.
Right.
They actually do nothing.
Right. I think there was a guy doing a vape under a mask, and then he breathed out, and all of the vapor went everywhere else.
Except
but coming out through the mask. So I guess if you're kind of like, it's acting as a buffer to hold back stuff, from going that way maybe, but it's certainly not filtering.
So use your IQ when you're wearing a mask, it's a suggestion probably, isn't it?
Right. Or maybe it was filtering, because if it was filtering properly, then air would be coming through, but you wouldn't see the clean air. Then again, I'm going to err on the side of, I don't think the thing's bloody well worked. I'm
going there. I'm going
there.
My intelligence tells me to go there.
Right, okay. Your cynical Q would be there.
So, and this is where I'm going back to, isn't it? There's the intelligence if we can go and research.
Yep.
And depending on, two sets of research.
Right.
One can be pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one can be counter pro. It can be arguing against the fact that, it's safe and they work.
Yeah.
And where do we make the choice? Where do we find the intelligence to make the choice? Because we're always going to get a counter information.
Yeah.
Everything you have information for, there's always a counter.
Well, there's a lot of agendas at play, right?
So where does the intelligence come in, Tommy, to make that final decision? This question.
Oh God! Now you're really mixing it up.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So look, when you might have IQ sitting there in that prefrontal cortex, because we're talking rationalization, and then you've got some of the memory bank stuff playing into that as well. And some of that memory is sitting back in the amygdala, right? With some memories that we don't want to know. So you can have some people that could be damn smart, but they do stupid things.
Yeah. Based on their old fears. Yeah.
Based on
old experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So then you're going, well, that wasn't really smart, right? And having expectations on people, why the hell did you do that?
Because they haven't gone into the emotional intelligence yet.
There we go. So that'll be Friday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So good segue for later.
Yeah.
But bringing it back to physiology.
Yeah.
Right, so we're changing gears a little there back into what the intention was for this particular podcast. So, we're talking physiology, so biotech I was talking about, and being wearables that I have. External, not invasive. And a lot of that's for monitoring, scanning, and actually for things like, in fact, in the bioenergetic space, on the other side, actually for electroceuticals that can be emitted and transmitted back to the body. We won't go there right now, or maybe even today, but in the middle, we've got biointelligence, right? And
so it'll be BI.
BI, right? Yeah, BI instead of AI. Go, yeah, right. Yeah. It's the real intelligence, right? So biointelligence, where we're gathering information from, within my program, because we've got this telemetry in effect. If you want to take the metaphor of the Formula One racing car, and this is what I do with my executives.
Yeah.
They love being the Formula One race car driver. That's fine. I'm the guy in the pits that's monitoring them, making sure on the dashboard of them and their health, while they're looking after the health of their business, I'm looking after the business of their health through this dashboard, that we're getting some intelligent information coming through they didn't have access to before. So it's biointelligence because it's intelligence about their body or their biology, right, specifically.
So in essence then, Tommy, from that intelligence, what can you do with that intelligence in terms of the physiological?
So what we can do is we start to gather a lot of data. They used to call this thing big data, right? And that's when it was all of a sudden we had this enormous amount of data that continued to build, and they knew somewhere in there there was gold, and then there are heroes, you know. And the gold is being able to then go from data or information and becoming intelligence, something we can use, right? And so you now have a lot of these data analysts, and these guys are getting paid big money. Back in sort of the industry that I was in before, I sort of am now, but now it's about quality of life, not quality of business, right? And these guys are sought after because they're the ones that are mining and are able to extract some meaningful, relevant information which becomes intelligence for people to be able to use. Now, when you bring that to physiology, in the area that I'm working around, you know, how people are eating, moving and sleeping, there are offerings out there, one that I've been using for a while, that can help people optimize their performance, get them into the best potential to be in a state of homeostasis or balance within their bodies.
That's pretty intelligent.
You like that?
To be in that place?
Yeah, well, I can fool some people.
Just the intelligence of wanting to get there. That's a pretty intelligent move, isn't it?
Well,
to want to be in a certain peak performance.
To be aware that that's maybe somewhere you should go, rather than being in that survival mode of just feeling like you're trying to get through your day, right? So how do we use, once someone goes in and asks the question, well, we do have that information available to answer it in helping them optimize so that individuals can become super them, you know, their full potential. And that's been a passion for me for as long as I'm awarely conscious of, you know, from being a child, I can remember things, to now, where I wanted to see, wow, how can we get the most out of life? How can we get the most out of an individual? Which is kind of where it starts.
And it really having the plan, isn't it? Having the intelligence, having the information to work upon, and using that information intelligently. That's the key. But this is where you can also come up against certain ethical issues, moral issues, and so on in this intelligence, you know, and how it's used. You know, you've got to trust also that the information you're being fed back from this AI engine on biointelligence, that it's actually correct for you. Same as pharmaceuticals, does it fit me? Well, it's less harmful because it's information. You will act on it, but you're not taking some synthetic substance. It's going to give you, okay, well, here's the best. You look at eat first, and that's where I start with a lot of my execs and business owners and leaders with, you know, huge responsibility and potential stress. Is let's work out what you're eating first. Why? Because we're a set of biochemical reactions going on constantly, and a lot of those are being triggered by how we're interpreting our world. So we talk about intelligence, going through that prefrontal cortex, a lot of analysis will happen. A lot of it actually happen even directly straight to the amygdala, for example. And before you've even been able to rationalize it, you've gone and made a decision right out the back of, oh, that doesn't feel, no, we're not doing that. Before you've even, people would say, thought about it. So let's relax. Let's think about this for a minute. Get intelligent about it.
No, I don't feel, this doesn't feel right. Okay, obviously there's an emotional response to something that did happen back before. We're not going to go there because we're going to talk more about that on Friday. But they're not using some rationale.
And that's different from intuition too, isn't it? You know, the reaction is different than intuitively knowing what's good for one. There's a big difference.
Because where's that coming from, do you reckon?
Upstairs. Higher intelligence.
Right.
Higher intelligence. And inner knowing.
Subconscious, no?
Subconscious, subconscious mind, that inner knowing.
That inner knowing.
I know that that's not going to be good for my health.
You kind of got that visceral feeling about it?
One could be from an old story,
right,
which is a reaction, and one can be from that pure intelligence space.
Right.
You know, to me there's a difference.
Right, okay.
But when we come back to
It's a higher form of intelligence.
Higher form of intelligence.
Yeah.
And once again, it's we can have learnt intelligence through. I've read in a book that that's good for me.
Yeah.
And that's intelligent enough.
Right.
But there's different levels of intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of the biomarkers, in terms of the intelligence you're talking about, it's all measurable.
It's all very measurable.
It's all very measurable.
It's you can touch it, feel it.
Smell it, taste it.
What's that?
Taste it.
Taste it. Yeah. Like you didn't eat it. Remember that joke? Anyway, when you're looking at biointelligence and you're looking at eating, the intention is that you're going to get the best stuff for you, right? And it doesn't just stop there. We're then talking about moving. What is the best exercise for me as well? And so you've got these data scientists, analysts that are getting this information. There's so much there now that they're getting these big correlations that they're starting to identify.
Yeah. Tommy, for those listening in and watching in, can you give a little bit of a synopsis of that? Is that body shape, body size, bone density, blood types, skin types?
Yep.
Where does that start to come into play in terms of that intelligence?
Yeah. So like with the one of the key tools that we use at the moment. It's actually coming from two angles. One is that you've got this database, right, with a whole lot of artificial intelligence that help develop a lot of algorithms and so on on how to use the data, right, to make it intelligible. But then you've got to put into the AI engine some other information for it to go and access this database.
And what is some of that information?
So, for example, in fact, it comes through. Firstly, measuring through anthropometry, right? The science of sort of measuring certain parts of your physiology.
It's the size of your hips, length of your legs,
muscles, right? All circumferences around certain parts of your body, etc. To then sort of start to shape up a phenotype that you're expressing based on. Thanks, Siri. Siri's not sure she understands. Okay, wow. What's your IQ, Siri? Be a while to be. I have a lot of information. I'm always seeking more intelligent ways to use it. Well, here we are in the AI age, right? Thanks, Siri. That was very useful. So you're going and doing the anthropometry, feeding information into the AI engine. That then comes back and says, okay, here are the recommendations based on your measurements that are going to be the right food for you to eat, right? Because, we go from eating crap, and everybody pretty well knows what that is these days, right? The processed, refined stuff, white carbs, etc. It's all about eating the rainbow, many different veg, cruciferous green vegetables and so on. These are all the healthy things, the water and so on, but we're starting to get this into, let's see if we can make it clean, make it organic, as well as which ones should I have? Which vegetables are best for me? Should I be eating meats? Which meats are the best for me, right? Fruit, nuts, all of this, the whole diet gets sorted for you as an individual to get you operating your best biochemically using the genes that are being switched on and switched off at that point in time.
So the right fuel for the
right fuel. Perfect.
Yep.
So when we use the Formula One racing car analogy and collecting the telemetry, that allows us to work out also then what fuel mix is going to be best to put in. Right, from the Bowser into here in effect.
Two-stroke, four-stroke.
Exactly. Tune it to particular cars. Each car's different in Formula One, right? So they're getting really optimised to get the best performance,
and of course, every individual is going to be so specific.
Absolutely. Right. We are all different, and not only that, it'll depend on the environment that we're in. If we could be travelling around the world, those recommendations will change.
Yeah, of course,
right. And they actually have an app that does that, right?
Okay.
And it could be a different season, and it'll change.
Seasonal foods.
Right.
It's been well known for a long time that particular foods in particular seasons. The nut season, because you get more energy from the nuts, for instance. Is a really good thing to have in the winter.
Right.
Because you get an extra boost of energy.
Absolutely.
The warming foods.
Right. It's more keto-y type foods. It's not the fast burn, sugary stuff. But then you move into movement. So to speak, and we have exercises that are right also for each body shape, right?
Yep.
So, you know, what's right for me based on the anthropometry, goes into the database, and it checks with, you know, intelligence, right? So some pretty high IQ people help put this together, right? With bottled IQ in effect, right? To work out, well, what's the best exercises. And not only that, you bring in a layer of extra intelligence of chronobiology. When should they be doing this?
Okay.
Also, back to the eating.
Because we've had a bit of a discussion around this about when to get up in the morning.
Yep.
When to exercise, when to go to bed.
Yep.
How many hours sleep.
Yep.
You know, how long to run.
Exactly.
5Ks, 6Ks.
Yeah.
You know.
Should I be weightlifting?
Yeah.
Should I be, for some it's less weightlifting, it's more going for a run or, doing
like
a
you and I,
right?
we're built to run.
We are.
Yeah,
We're built for endurance.
Yeah.
Swim, bike, run, what do you know? That's the three components of a triathlon. Rowing tends to be good for us too.
Yeah.
Right? We're good for that. We work hard, we go along, we predominantly produce dopamine, right, as well. So we're pretty mentally active, sometimes too much. So meditation's a good thing for us to slow the IQ machine down, right? So we don't blow a gasket up there. And
we want to keep our IQ up too much.
That's it, right? Yeah. So we don't want to pull an IQ handy. And then we'll move to sleep.
Yeah.
And so sleep comes down to, we will want to know when is it that we should be going to sleep.
Yep.
And for different health types, like you mentioned before, depending on their measurements and the analysis back into the AI machine, when is it best to go to sleep and to wake up. The trick there too is that you've got to be super consistent on those slots, especially for the REM sleep, because your body will get used to knowing, okay, he's going to wake up at about this time. And REM tends to happen in the latter part of sleep, like in the last third sort of thing. So if you get up earlier than your normal time, that the body says, whoa, dude, you're getting up too early. We haven't finished the REM yet. You're going to be cutting back in your REM, which consolidates a lot of memory, learnings, and things like that from the day before. The deep sleep happens in the beginning of the night. That's cleaning up the factory. It's giving the machine a bit of a service, getting the car up on the hoist, right? Draining the oil, cleaning out the toxins, doing those sorts of things.
It's the biggest time for relaxation of the body, for the healing.
Yep.
So when the healing really happens on the body.
It is, and things like adaptation needs to happen. And the adaptation part's sort of after the cleaning, when we move into the REM, where we're consolidating memory and so on, we're starting to adapt to things that we learnt the day before to start to wire those up, and then perhaps put them in the program into the back end, right? So they become a subconscious thing.
Yeah, so we don't have to do the same things the following day that we
make
did
the same
before.
mistakes, right? Or the stuff that worked well, you learned that worked well. So there you go. Let's reinforce that little synapse firing off connection between the neurons, right?
That fruit tasted good. I might do that again.
Do that again, right? So eating, moving, sleeping. We've got a couple of people here. So Craig. Hello, and Greg. Also, if you want to throw in some questions there, guys, or raise some learnings from yourself as well, please, participate. We're more than happy to address some questions on the go as well.
See if we can use a bit of IQ to answer the questions.
Yeah, because God knows we haven't got enough. Well, between us, maybe, right? So we got a lot more IQ we can use out there. So eating, moving, sleeping, and then it gets to thinking, which is kind of where IQ lives.
Yes.
And that takes us back to the beginning of this podcast, where we said, well, okay, then, people, and this is where you and I integrate from, because you move more into the, where I've got the eating, moving, sleeping, you've got the emotional, mental and spiritual side, and they kind of connect in through the switchboard of the brain, right?
The
psychology piece. So, after so many people, you can see that have got a reasonable IQ doing stupid things.
Yeah.
And what's driving that? So where does IQ fit? But, I want to also tee it up that IQ is just the start of the game.
Yeah.
When you look at EQ, RQ, and the mysterious SQ, having a doctor, let's say, that goes to university, flying colours, has an IQ, could be Einstein, or Hawking level of 160, then put them with a patient and their bedside manner sucks. It's like, oh yes, we've diagnosed that you've got this terminal disease. Right, and in fact, what have they just gone and done as well?
not much intelligence in that, is it?
Right.
Yeah.
So no, I'm right. I mean, I've worked with some of these guys in my previous career in IT, where you would have what we would call with all due respect to the pre-sales profession. Don't go, what's the word for it? Trolling me now. But you'd have your pre-sales guy. You'd be a sales guy or a partner, business partner guy coming in and talking to a potential new business partner. Say, hey, look, this would be really good if we work together because it makes sense for both of us. And you've got a guy who's the technical guy that knows the product really well. And you can have good ones and ones that aren't so good. The good ones understand people or a bit more of the EQ, which we're not going to go into, but they understand more than just IQ.
Yes.
Their bedside manner is really good. They can read also you while you're putting a proposal and you're asking questions. They're sinking in with you. They're kind of connecting with you. They're tuning in, right? Yeah. Then you'll have the guy that is like, knows his tech stuff super well, could totally destroy the whole connecting up of everything with an ego is going, no, that's dumb, that's stupid. No, you're Mr. Customer or Mr. Business Partner, you are wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking right now, how intelligently stupid is that comment right now?
So different forms of intelligence, Tommy.
Different, yeah. Lack of, right?
One is intelligent,
forms.
one isn't.
Right, so this guy's great, and unfortunately they're the guys we would say, put them in the back room. They can, their best, and in their best world of where they can contribute the most.
And use their intelligence.
In the back end, building stuff that's required. You don't want to put them in front of humans, unfortunately, a lot of the time.
Because that does require some emotional intelligence.
It requires
communication intelligence.
Right.
And other forms of intelligence.
We were talking about. So you can't have it on its own. And the funny, it has gone from IQ, EQ, RQ, SQ. All of those are needed. So we've evolved from IQ and the education system is still sitting too much.
In the IQ.
It's trying to make itself into EQ, right? And maybe touching on RQ, argue with the RQ.
Argue with the IQ?
Yeah, that was an accident. I haven't got that much IQ. Freudian slip. But we're just having IQ these days to survive. It's not enough.
No, it's not enough. No. And I think that the new measurement of IQ, I mean, just before we come online, I jumped on and had a little bit of an IQ test. And it's very pictorial. And it's very much about people who are visual, for their IQ, and then you get written IQ tests.
Right.
But what about IQ in terms of kinesthetics, for instance?
Right.
How can you measure kinesthetic IQ?
Right, yeah.
Because there's different learning styles. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic.
Right.
And most of these are visual IQ.
Right, so they're heavy weighted in the other cues.
Totally. So people who are more kinesthetic like myself, probably going to be slightly less because the base of the intelligent test is not based on a particular type of learning, like rather than just a visual.
Yeah.
It's not auditory, for instance.
Right.
And some people are auditory learners.
Right.
Some are kinesthetic learners.
Yeah.
So already it's heavily weighted.
Right.
So it's only give those people a high test that are very visual. So already it's out of sync.
Right.
From the premises of what the test is, it's doomed to failure for 2/3 of the population. Based on an intelligent observation, I must say.
Right. It's.
So we might do have a question coming up.
We got Evelyn on. Hello, Evelyn. Welcome.
I'm just wondering, did we just miss a question there? Can you go
back
into...
We'll scroll back. Watching. No, we got Craig. We got Adrian. We got Evelyn. So no, we did miss a question. Sort of probably close out the loop on this with IQ. It worked well for us. I would have said 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's not enough today. It's like almost an assumed thing to have enough IQ. But what's happened is there's a lot more weight that's actually been put on the other cues. And part of the reason why is we're automating. We've got a lot of tools and data and artificial intelligence and those things that are starting to take care of the IQ piece. Right?
Totally, yeah.
So there's hope for me yet, Adrian.
Yeah, we do not need to carry around anymore in the education system the last 15 generals of 15 wars.
Right.
And who was orchestrating it, because we just Google it now.
Right.
And what, it's almost like the computer can carry that memory for us.
Yeah.
And we can use that memory space for something more intelligent.
Right.
More useful.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to know who, the fire of 1066 in London and the Battle of Hastings and
right.
Like really, why do we need to know that stuff anymore?
Or learning French.
Yeah, and yet that's still taught in the education
language,
systems.
unless it's like got a reason or they have a passion for it, perhaps.
Yeah.
But, and maybe it's a time where they're finding out whether they do. For linguistics, right? With all due respect. But I think the system is it's antiquated.
Totally.
I think it needs a quantum leap. And it's interesting when we start to talk, and the other cues coming up for this month, that when we start talking about the quantum and accessing, right? And you touched on this in the beginning, an intelligence that's beyond us. And when you start to talk about the RQ piece and the relationship quotient, talking about connecting, and the EQ talking about the feeling. Right, and coming from here, and like heart-led leadership is what we're about in the Corporate Alchemist project.
That's for me, Tommy. That's the thing that needs testing now.
Right,
it's not so much the IQ, but can we test people on the EQ, and the RQ, and the SQ.
Right.
But how do we develop those tests?
Right.
You and I are developing those tests.
Great question.
We are developing them in CAP.
Yeah.
We've got a process that we're unfolding where people who particularly come on the retreats with us, there's going to be some unfolding of how we're going to be measuring and working with those different intelligences.
Absolutely.
And I think it's time now to start to bring in those different ideas and understanding of how we start to measure that.
Yeah.
Like how do I measure Adrian's EQ?
Yeah.
And RQ and SQ?
Yeah. Especially, it makes it more easily digestible for the traditional world that exists in life, being, for example, like the education system, the business system, the way businesses are structured and so on, and then it loves to measure stuff, right? The BQ,
business, Like, what does it take?
Because it's an accumulation. It's an accumulation of intelligence in there,
totally
right? And the part is though that you want it to connect all together, and you want it to work well together. So we're talking about relationship quotient stuff, which we'll be going into. So hence IQ on its own is a potential.
So we need
it's automated. A lot of it's now automated.
So what we're really saying here, Tom, isn't it, is we're trying to develop a new
paradigm.
A new paradigm of Q, a holistic Q.
Right.
Yeah, so it's got all formats of the intellect, the emotional, the spiritual, the relationship, and probably other aspects as well.
Yeah.
But now to formulate that, now to bring that into the corporate space and allowing people to be measured in a particular way, self-measurement, self-evaluation, I think, is always the best test.
Yep.
Of giving oneself the self-evaluation of how intelligent am I.
Yep.
Not just in the intellect, but beyond that.
Absolutely.
So let's start with intellect.
Yep.
Let's start with intellectual self-evaluation.
Yep.
That's a really good place to begin.
Well, and look, and I think too, it's taken a bit of a leap where it's like, okay, IQ, we don't need all the IQ from you because there are tools. This is when we start talking a bit about singularity as well, right? And of course, if we're looking at tangible tools and technology, I'm the tech part of this relationship, right? That I think, well, don't use your grey matter for that. Now move it to somewhere. So even within the IQ piece, move more to the right side of the brain. So we haven't gone EQ yet. We're going to the creative side, right? And so all this left brain logical stuff can get outsourced to some form of, whether it's a human being, or it's all sitting these days in a lot of AI, right? To then use this part, which is creativity, imagination, and then the part there, I'm guessing it's the pineal gland and the crystals and whatever that can vibrate, that tune into frequencies up through the quantum.
Yep. Just like a radio does. Right. It's got a crystal in it.
Just like, radio's okay. Humans, hang on, it works on radios. It's like, we got crystals and what's your problem with that?
Well, vertigo.
IQ check.
Crystals in the ear. You know what causes vertigo?
Right.
The crystals come loose in the ear and wobble around.
There we go.
So we've got crystals in the ears that get, vertigo when they're loose.
Amazing. The spirit level and everything else is sitting in there to keep us walking.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah, try and balance on one leg with your one eye closed. It's like, whoa, it starts to get wobbly.
Especially after a couple of drinks. So it really is a interesting area, and I think the sweet spot is going to be sitting somewhere around these days, I reckon where RQ is where we really need to start to manifest, deliver around the world around RQ properly.
And that's around about communication, connection.
Connecting with people, and where do you connect? And it's not through the brain, it's
through the heart.
Through the heart, right?
And through communication, of course.
Right, because we've got a lot of electrical signals happening up here and the calculations in the computer. And here we've got a whole lot of electromagnetic.
And we have sympathy and antipathy, of course, which are the two big ones that we'll all drop into a million times a day. I'm either sympathetic or antipathetic towards you.
Sympathetic or parasympathetic.
Straight in,
nervous
all
system.
the time.
Right.
I'm either going to be drawn to you or repelled by you.
Right.
And that goes on continually.
And that's frequency based.
That's frequency based. But the intelligence picks that up in terms of the intelligence of, is this person safe?
Right.
Am I, because the intuition kicks in.
Body language
and then we go into the logic of that. Should I run or should I stay?
Right.
So there's an intelligence around that that's useful to listen to.
Right.
Yeah. And that's IQ.
That is IQ. Right?
That's IQ.
So you're going in, you're taking an imprint, and you're checking back in information that you have. But there is that EQ feeling through the heart connection.
Oftentimes it starts in the EQ, and then it's back to the IQ in terms of organising that information, make it intelligent, and then taking action upon the intelligence we get.
Right.
It's always about what action do we take, isn't it?
Right, it is.
Because that's intelligent.
It is.
Lion coming towards me, run.
Run, yeah.
Good intelligence.
That's a smart move.
Smart move.
Well, hang on, maybe the smarter move is they say, you've learned, don't run, look them in the eye, like with a bear apparently.
Well,
it's like,
yeah.
Right? So emotionally, amygdala's going, dude, get that out of here, right? Whereas intelligence, something you learned, says, no, work with it, don't go. Because statistics say that you just look them in the eye, right? And so that's when the IQ can come in handy to save some of the EQ stuff, right? Because there can be some negative EQ. It doesn't work for you. So how do you get these things aligned?
But it's a belief system in the IQ as well, isn't it? Trusting the IQ.
It is.
Like trusting the tech.
Right.
The tech says this is good to eat. And I'm going, I'm not too sure about that because last time I ate that I was sick.
Well, 3 people died.
You
know?
So the trust comes into it too, which is EQ, of course.
Yes.
So how does it work, Tommy, is a question, probably doesn't work, does it, unless they're all connected?
You've got to have them all working together.
All working together.
Yeah, when you get like a strong message that aligns all the way through, the same as heart, the Heart Math Institute. It's like getting the heart and the mind
Think it, feel it, do it. Think it, feel it, do it.
Right, but this guy's talking a lot up here, apparently. This guy isn't talking much down there because the ego's thinking, we're not listening to that dude. He doesn't know what's going on. I'm the IQ.
Yeah, I know.
Get out. Shut up, stupid.
I know it all.
I'm the smart guy. Right? Yeah. But that's what's screwed us up a little.
60,000 years of humanity. And, we've got, beer and Simpsons?
Woo.
It says a lot.
It's an achievement.
It says a lot.
It's an achievement for humanity. Right? So,
So Tommy, one last tip.
Yeah.
In terms of that IQ for the physiological aspect of supporting somebody this week to take themselves into a place of better physiologically, what can they do in an intelligent way to change how they are in their physical being?
Okay. So I think there's a couple of things there. One is that you mentioned it just a moment ago, beliefs. And if you've got a closed mind, hey Heather, I've heard you talk about this occasionally, pretty sure. Arlene, welcome. That having a closed mind is going to be one of the most dangerous things on the planet. Right? And God knows how many closed minds we have on the planet right now. And to not learn, to be open to learning new stuff, to going into the darkness, to something that's going to break potentially your belief system. And the ego doesn't like that game, right? Because it's trying to protect an identity of this is how it is, this is who I am, rather than, well, maybe there's something more here. And if you've got the curiosity to open your mind and maybe learn something, that means that you're becoming aware enough to move the ego aside. So perhaps you might even increase your IQ.
So going from an old paradigm of thinking to a new paradigm of thinking.
Maybe the ego likes that idea, and we'll let some stuff in.
You might.
Right? so that's what you've got to play with. So keeping an open mind, right?
That's tip number one.
Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind.
Tip number 2.
So you can learn. Tip number 2. I had it a moment ago. I'm waiting for it to come back to me into the memory part of my IQ.
Yeah.
So this could be a struggle.
Yeah.
Might
be age as well.
Yeah, it could be a while. Maybe we just stick with that one. I can't remember it. What was it? Oh, it was earth-shattering, Adrian.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Was it some process on how to keep the memory?
It was so damn good that I got so excited that it's been blocked out of my mind. Meditatory moment, IQ.
So let me ask the question again, because sometimes by answering,
I think a certain amount of trust. Risk. Taking a risk. Right. I think it's an intelligent thing to do, and this is once again, it's probably a bit more like keeping an open mind, because I think it's important to do that and taking a risk because you're going to be trusting something that hasn't been proven yet. And if you're looking at the best way to eat, move, and sleep, and using something new, right? With some IQ that's been bottled up now.
Yep.
You look at what Elon Musk is doing with Neuralink.
Oh, incredible. And that could be really fearful.
Yeah.
Or pretty amazing, or better both.
Oh, and the ethics and morals, everything that's going to come into that one is going to be massive.
Yeah, based on whose morals?
Right, based on whose morals. Right? Oh, God, that is a whole other debate. We're having some of those right now, what's happening in the world, right? But yeah, I think being able to trust going into somewhere you haven't been before to improve your IQ, if we keep it in the scope of IQ without going into EQ, would be perhaps a good place to leave it. So keep the curiosity, keep the mind open, trust that all that's going to get hurt by taking a bit of a leap, and especially as we move into EQ, which is less measurable, is your ego.
Which is a thing that we have to keep challenging.
Which makes us stupid.
Continual challenge, isn't it?
Right. It can make us stupid. Right? We do stupid things that IQ can't work out with the ego. Right? So,
Tommy Gallant, what a fascinating topic.
Wasn't it?
Really, what a rabbit hole.
We went painting on that one, didn't we? It was big time.
And great fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's a never-ending topic, isn't it?
It is.
IQ is like so open to interpretation, to discussion,
to how useful it is. But just to close out, I mean, the whole thing was, if you had a better IQ, it's like you were better, smarter, you were the more evolved being. You think? Depends whether that's being used for Darth Vader or for Luke Skywalker's team.
Totally.
Right, as well.
So, that was Star Wars, by the way. You like that? From Chewbacca. All right, mate. Great to chat, Tommy Gallant. We're going to be back again towards the end of the week.
We are.
So, for those here, pop over to that other platform as well, that AI platform.
Right.
And tune up for the Corporate Alchemist project on the page.
Yes.
And for those that are adventurous, can pop over to Corporate Alchemist project group.
Yes.
And you can knock on the door and enter that for a membership too, if you'd like to. So pop over, have a look, and contact Tommy Gallant or Adrian Hanks on Facebook anyway with a message, or on just Messenger
or through the other platform on their Messenger.
And send us an intelligent question.
Oh my God, if you can. Not too intelligent, could be too hard for us to answer, right? We might need some artificial intelligence to help out perhaps. But something special happening on August 14th.
Oh, yeah, a very intelligent thought from you there, Tommy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
that was a bit of my EQ coming in there.
Yeah, a bit of your EQ coming in. So,
a bit of RQ as well.
Adrian Hanks.
As long as it's not the far Q.
Adrian Hanks, the writer, the intelligent writer.
We'll be in charge of that.
Is actually, thank you. is launching his first novel that's been in the making for over 4 years. Yep. 2084.
2084 is being launched 100 years down the track.
Absolutely, and that's on the Gold Coast on August the 14th, but you can also pre-purchase a limited edition book. If you go to adrianhanks.com and go to 2084 page, click, you can order straight from there, get a ticket for the book launch, and or get your limited edition book, Tommy Gallant. And
awesome.
I know
Which I've already I got Barley's on one of those.
You have, mate?
It wasn't the first, I know, second, third, or whatever. I'm sort of like,
it'll be after the 10th.
Down the list.
The first 10th are being kept in the cupboard.
Right, there we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Great to chat. Tommy Gallant. Fantastic.
Yes.
See you soon.
Another beautiful day.
It is. Let's go. We're just ranting now.
Have a great night, morning, and rant is over. Okay.